You are going to be the executive producer of this.
Yeah,
you're moving from assistant producer to executive producer. I mean, it's coming.
Assistant that already does everything.
Assistant to
the
executive producer,
which is
also him. Yeah, it's the episode when Dwight. It's the episode when Dwight becomes his own assistant to the assistant regional manager. Yeah.
Well, hey, welcome to the Sunday to Monday podcast. We are so excited. I'm pumped to be in the room with Pastor Mitchell, Pastor Caleb, Pastor Abram behind the scenes over there is our executive producer. No, we've just been kidding around.
Did he get promoted?
Yeah,
he got
already.
Oh man, that's quick. That was quick.
So yeah, we're diving right into the first official episode of this podcast, and we're talking about prayer. As we launch into our series called the 21 Days of Prayer and Fasting here at our church. I'm excited about that. I can't wait to see really all the Lord has in store for us. And so kind of the heartbeat behind the podcast for these few weeks, these 21 days, as every Monday we'll launch a new podcast and just talk about prayer, talk about fasting. And in our services, we're talking about how to become praying people and a fasting and praying people, how to become a praying church, which our church does a really good job of praying.
Sure.
But really what we want to do is just kind of dive in a little deeper and talk about, why do we pray in these episodes, how we pray. And like episode 2, we'll give some really specifics on the Lord's Prayer and different prayer methods to really give people resources and tools to do that. And so one of the things I'm seeing is people really do feel spiritually tired and spiritually distracted. And so as we just kind of dive in to talk about prayer, why do you guys, what do you see that's causing that? What's the spiritual distraction and the tiredness that's going on around us in our culture?
Yeah. I mean, I think the saying goes that everyone's going to be discipled by something, right?
Yeah.
And we have such a culture that is the attention span is every 30 seconds that you can scroll to a new TikTok video, right? So the ease and availability of distractions are more than they've ever been in the past, and everyone's going to be discipled by something. And so if it's easier...
Well, I think they're being discipled right now by algorithms,
yeah,
right?
Exactly,
yeah.
Right? Like if you can get on and mindlessly scroll to things that are exactly what you want to see for as long as you want to do it, right?
Yeah.
It just breeds that distraction, right? It makes it easier to do that than it does to do other things and to spend time with the Lord, So I think that then carries over, intentionally or unintentionally, right? It carries over into their walk with Jesus as well, in their prayer life. So
yeah, I agree. I mean, when we look at Jesus, right? I mean, that's our ultimate example, and the way that he prayed and the intentionality that he prayed, that the spiritual disciplines really they come from desire in our heart, not from guilt, not from shame, but to have a true desire to experience Jesus, to become more and more like him. And we look at Jesus' life like it's we have to choose presence over productivity. And I just drawn back to the story of Mary and Martha in Luke, I think Luke 10. For me, that's a perfect example of what we're called to in the world. We can become Marys or we can become Marthas. The question really is what competes for our attention.
Well, and I think the thing that about that story that's so relatable is, man, if Jesus is coming to my house, I want to make sure it's good too, right? Like I want to make sure everything's prepared, and I want to make sure I got dinner, and I want to make sure the house is clean. Like, I mean, this is Jesus, right? He's coming, and so like what makes it so relatable is that if we were in that position, right, we probably wouldn't pick the right thing either. Like, it wouldn't be natural for us to pick that right thing. But just going off the teachings of Jesus and how much time he spent just with people, right, and talking about that presence, right, like presence ministry was a huge part of Jesus's life and Jesus's ministry, right? It just being there, being present, being for people. And so, I mean, that's what we're called to be and called to do. So
well, there's such a tension between like that responsibility and that rest, to where it's like there's a responsibility that she wanted to make it nice and to do the things like you were saying, like, if Jesus is coming to my house, I want it to be nice. And there is a responsibility piece, but you see that both displayed so fully in both of them. And I think, that's why they're so related to that story. And
well, in our culture, right, it's so we almost measure success off of how much stuff we've got going on.
Oh yeah,
right. Like
if the calendar's not full.
What's your response? Hey, how's it going? Oh, just busy.
Yeah,
right. Just busy. And it's like, man, like, is that, I heard a quote one time: if the devil can't make you bad, he'll make you busy.
Oh, for
right?
sure. Yeah.
How much do we there's people that almost take pride in making sure that calendar's full, making sure that they don't have an extra second to do anything, you know?
Yeah.
And when we look at the life of Jesus and how much time he spent just being as opposed to doing, it really challenges that cultural thing, you know?
Yeah, I mean, just thinking about him going away from the disciples, going away from the noise, just to seek the Father, spend time with the Father.
Yeah.
And we have such a difficult time in our hurried life slowing down.
Yeah. I think people want to do what's right. And it's like, I feel like that's kind of draws to some of that like spiritual tiredness. It's just like, you have so many things telling you that this thing is the right thing to do. And this thing is the right thing to do. And it's like, that gets so tired. You get so tired after a while to just be like, what is the right thing to do? And I think that's where that rest piece comes in, to be like, hey, when we can take a minute in the example of Jesus and just rest and hear from God and do that, I think.
Yeah, and I think the danger too is, you said the word peace, not in this same context, but that drew me to the actual word peace. Like, when you look at the families that are hurried and busy and living like pulled in every direction, they're not living peace-filled lives, and they're not living joy-filled. I mean, maybe joy in the moment of the next game or the next thing or the what, but they're not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
100%. And
well, and so that, I mean, when you were talking about rest, right? It drew me back to like the creation story. I've always thought this is crazy. Like, you've got God who creates the whole universe, and then he creates man and woman on day 6, right? And he gives them that call, right? He gives Adam that charge to subdue and cultivate and do all these different things, right? To take care of this garden, but he creates them on day 6, and it's like, okay, we got a lot of stuff to do, right? If you think about it, like, we got animals to name, we got all this stuff to do, right? Like, what are we gonna do tomorrow? And it's like, we're gonna rest.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we ain't gonna do anything.
Yeah.
Like, we're just gonna be. We're gonna exist with the Father. And so, like, when we talk about orientation, and everyone's in a rhythm, whether they want to be or not, right?
Yeah,
for sure.
And so, when we talk about orientation of our lives around the things of God, like, what's the first thing that he called them to? He called them to exist with him, right? And just be with him.
Presence.
Yeah. So that's where we're at,
that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think the one takeaway so far is just the purpose of prayer is presence.
Yeah.
It's aligning your heart with the Father. It's mimicking Jesus and his heartbeat for the Father.
Yeah.
And through that we find peace.
Yep.
We find joy. We find calm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. And so as we talk about fasting, let's kind of shift that way. Just at kind of a high view of fasting. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, I've always viewed fasting as, again, that reorientation right? It allows our, whether it be whatever it's fasting from, right? Like fasting food, whatever we decide to fast, it needs to be some sort of deprivation that makes us think about why we're doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
Right?
It's more dependence than deprivation.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
It's so easy to see it as, we're so tempted to see it as deprivation.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
right.
you feel that
Yeah.
pain, the
Right.
hunger, all
sure.
that. And it's like,
100%.
but like you said, that reorientation.
Yeah, it's got to be that reorientation of like, we're not doing this just because it's like, oh, I'm going to take the day and I'm not going to eat anything.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's dumb, but if we can take it and say, no, we're going to take this whole day, and every time I think about food and every time I feel that like deprivation, right? That starts to creep in of like, man, like I really want tacos right now, or like you take that time to reflect and lean further in.
Sure.
And so that's how I've always viewed it, is just a,
Yeah, and I think we have to be careful. I remember going through I think it was a 2 or 3 day fast, probably 7 years ago, with a couple other guys.
Yeah.
And we were keeping each other accountable in this, but there was a little bit of pride in it of, okay, I can do this.
Oh yeah.
And we've got to be careful, like with that kind of mentality, and shift it to just a reliance on the Father. You know what He's calling us to, and it really is just that dependence. And fasting's interesting because it really does show us how much our mind is manipulated toward food or whatever we're giving up. We were fasting not long ago and giving up social media. And I think it was in this early on in the reset.
Yep.
And I just deleted social media from my phone because I'm like, I realized how quick my thumb went to those icons. I'm like, oh my goodness, it's just a natural response, and your brain's like trained to go there. So
and it's like you spend the time during fasting too of just like, I feel like I'm constantly making mental notes of just like, when you're reminded of that too, you're like, man, and you're just making that list of things of like, this habit or this thing that I do, like, then creates like, if I didn't do that thing, then there's this window of time that I would be doing this specific thing, whether like scrolling news or something like that, to where it's like, man, that directs us or distracts us so easily to something that making that mental note of like time after time, like minutes, hours rack up pretty quick of like, okay, drawing that back to the prayer and the dependence and okay, God.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. No, I think it's a, as we go through this, I think there's a reason that these are tied together, right? Like we talk about dependence,
you mean prayer and fasting.
Yeah. Like there's a reason why these are tied together, because as we talk through the presence of God and being in His presence, that makes fasting so much easier.
Yeah.
Right? Because if we're relying on Him and we're walking, day by day, hour by hour with Him in that close relationship, it makes those moments where things start to get difficult during the fasting portion. It makes it that much easier to reorient ourselves towards God, as opposed to walking the other way of like, I'm hungry, or I want to do X, Y, Z, whatever it is that you're fasting from. It makes the ease of clicking back to the right things easier if we're immersed in that prayer, and we're doing that daily, right? And just living and walking with Him. So
prayer and fasting, as we talk about spiritual disciplines, it's out of context, but I'm always drawn to like what Paul's like, I do the things I don't want to do. I don't do the things I should do. I know I need to do. Yeah. And it's the same with spiritual disciplines, when it comes to scripture reading or submission to the Father, prayer, fasting, all those things, right? Journaling, anything that can deepen your span with the Lord, right? As I'm thinking through this, there's people that are going to be listening that are all over the place spiritually. You know, there's non-believers listening. There's saints listening, and everywhere in between. So I think the question I want to ask is like, what small steps can we challenge or encourage people to take just to initiate that prayer life, that fasting life, so they can experience that alignment with Jesus?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
I think that's key, is starting small, because the realization and the building of those habits is you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And so just kind of starting small, whether that's just a couple minutes that you're carving out to say, this is going to be time I'm committing to prayer.
Yeah.
And you set that time and you commit to it, but say, hey, I'm going to start with like 30 minutes, 2 hours where I'm going to set this aside of, it's going to be a 3-minute window I have from my walk from my door to my car in the parking lot, or wherever that may be, of like, hey, I'm going to take this time, and that's going to start there and see what it turns into.
Well, and I think that there's a couple different ways you can do that, right? I think first and foremost, for the people who may not be believers or are brand new believers, I think the most important thing to keep in mind is that God is not surprised by anything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He's not surprised by anything.
No.
And so I think a lot of times when we're either non-believers or really new in the faith, it's like, man, I can't tell him all the stuff that I got going on,
right?
Because I don't want that out there. You know, I don't want to admit that stuff's happening. I don't want to go to him with that, because he'd be disappointed in me, right?
When he already knows.
He already knows that stuff. And so it's like use those moments and use that, like, if you've got that deep, dark, secret hurt that you've told nobody, man. Yeah. He already knows it. So, guess what? Now you got somebody you can talk to about it.
Yeah.
Right? And when I say talk to, I really mean talk to. Like, it's prayer, but like it's conversational, right? Yeah. Like it's conversational, it's relational.
He wants to hear from you.
He wants to hear, right? And so that would be number one. Two, I orient it towards this. It wasn't necessarily meant for this, but I listened to another group called the GBRS group, and they do like tactical training and stuff and all that good stuff, because I'm into all that stuff. But they
never knew that.
Yeah. I mean, shocker, right?
Tell us more.
Dude, we'll I was gonna say, where are we at on time?
It's time to pray.
Yeah. But anyway, one of the guys on there, he really leans into what he calls like dials and switches. And so he's like, when he's at work, he's 100% work, right? But then when he's home, he's 0% work and 100% dad.
Okay.
And he uses those transition times to flip those switches and dials, right?
That's good.
And so where I take that, right, is, you've got that time from work to home, right? To take that time as transition and take that time to make sure that we're coming off of work and we're coming back into home. And that's the perfect time to just immerse yourself in that prayer, right? And just talk to God, during those transition times of life through the day, is the perfect time. You're already doing something else, right? Sure. So it's a perfect time to lean into that. So
that's solid. That's good advice.
Yeah.
I think, another easy step is when we talk about fasting, not just prayer, is two simple things. One, don't launch into a 24-hour fast, or
I'm going to fast for 40 days because Jesus did.
I had a student when I was a youth pastor. My first full-time position, I had a student that fasted for 40 days.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, if you read the book Celebration of Discipline, which is like the gold standard of spiritual disciplines, in that book, he says during the fasting portion, like, do not fast more than 40 days. You are not better than Jesus. You may die. Well, like, it's so fun. He doesn't say it just like that, but it's so funny. He's like, don't do this more than 40 days. You're not better than Jesus, right? Like, you might die. Okay, so
that's a good book. It's
a really good book for disciplines. But anyway, go ahead.
No, I was just saying. So just start small. Find a lunch hour to fast on, and expand that prayer time during that. And when you feel those hunger pangs, you're reminded of your dependence on Jesus through that. And then we were talking about earlier, fast from social media. Delete the apps.
Yeah.
Take the day off.
Yep.
And it's amazing how clear your mind gets from a day of not scrolling through social media. Oh, yeah. It's amazing.
For sure.
And so I think our big take home today for week 1 is just that prayer and fasting aren't about doing more for God. They're just about being more with God. Just about His presence. So, so that's a wrap today for week 1 of our series on prayer and fasting. And we'll see you guys next week.